Good morning, Facebook. How are you? Welcome to our outdoor Mystic Fitness class on Victory Field. We're so happy to have you guys come along for the ride with us. So go grab your mats, take them outside if you want. I mean, even if you live close, you can still make it to class. If you're near Victory Field, you can come on down. We'll stall for a couple minutes here maybe. And good morning Instagram as well. You guys know the deal here. We're coming live to you every morning at 9 a.m. whether it's outside or inside. That is a guarantee that we're always going to be here live at 9 a.m. on Facebook and Instagram. Obviously, if it's weather permitting, we're still going to be taking our classes outside till July 15th. So definitely keep that marked in your calendar. We're going to be doing our outdoor classes all the way through the 15th. And stay posted for, updates on our opening procedures for our indoor studio. We just posted a Facebook video kind of running through what to expect from entering and exiting to the studio. So if you haven't seen that, go ahead and take a look. It's really informative. And we got Joan again from Cape Cod. Hello, Mom. Thank you for your support. Speaking of support, if you guys feel inclined to make a donation, we'll take that at Mystic Fitness Venmo. In no way is it necessary, so please don't feel obligated to do it. But if you're in a financial situation where you feel comfortable to do so and you feel moved to do so, we greatly appreciate that. We'll be giving you guys a handmade mask by Mary Beth if you do make your donation, or you can opt into one of our gently used props from the studio, blocks, straps, mats, you name it, and we will figure something out for you guys. We got Gloria live this morning too. Melissa, awesome. Thank you guys for commenting. I love seeing your little names pop up with your sweet little messages. In addition to archiving our videos on Facebook after they are live, we also archive them on our YouTube channel as well. So if you have family members that want free yoga but they don't want to use Facebook or Instagram, you can send them over to our YouTube channel. And that's a great way to access our content without any sort of social media presence. All right, so we got Marari here this morning with me. It's beautiful. The sun is coming out. We're hoping it's going to stay for just a little while longer. We'll go ahead and get started. And just a quick reminder too, it has been, pretty hot and humid, so make sure you're drinking lots of water. Make sure you're taking your practice in a way that feels healthy for your body. So just because we might cue one way or the other, definitely listen to your body first. And take it easy. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So come onto your mats, either laying down or seated, whatever you choose. Find an area where you can have a nice long spine. Allow your eyes to close. We found this little shady spot within the sunshine, which is such a beautiful way to enjoy your yoga class. Hope you guys are all outside with us. And just letting your breath start to take over. And notice how your breath is constantly with you. It's very, it happens without any thought. But when you come onto your mats, and we find this space, notice how you can engage with each breath. So the inhales starting from the lowermost belly, filling the belly, working its way all the way up to your lower rib cage, middle rib cage, and then all the way up to your chest and collarbones. And when we breathe in through the nose, we're bringing in all of the pinene and all of the terpenes within the trees that open up and expand our lungs. Bringing all of this dense nutrient oxygen into our bodies. And this meditation is a practice that can come off of your mat as well. So whenever you're faced with a time where you might feel a little stressed or maybe out of control, the one thing that you can always come back to is your breath. And you have ownership over this. No one can take that from you. No one can take that little space of peace and breath away from you. It is yours. If you're joining us outside, just enjoying the subtle breeze. Letting the noises around you of maybe the lawnmower in the distance, or a car driving by, or neighbors communicating, just all of it. It's this beautiful reminder that this outside world kind of continues around us, but we can kind of create this little container where you can just be within your soul. Take 5 more breaths here. And as your breath expands, start to bring some gentle movements through the fingertips and toes. Perhaps rocking the head from side to side. And if you are laying down, just taking the next couple moments to pick yourself back up into your seat. No sense of rush. Once you arrive, just reaching the arms up overhead and finding some circling through the wrists. Maybe even letting your arms kind of drop and finding some side stretches as one arm reaches up and the other arm kind of pulls down. Just any little movements here. Anything is better than nothing. So whatever you're doing is a beautiful start to your class. Giving the wrists a nice shake. And this is another technique that you can take off of your mat too. If you're ever feeling a little stuck or anxious, this is a great way to just kind of release all of the tension. And emotions need to be in motion. And then bringing your hands over your heart. Once you're ready, either palms together or planting the palms over your chest. Reestablishing this connection to your soul. Perhaps setting an intention for your class. And this intention might not even have words. It might just be a feeling or a kind of sensation that's arising within you. We'll begin our practice with the sound of Om, starting with a cleansing breath. Breathe in and out. And for Om, inhale. Have an inspired class. Let's go ahead and transition into your table pose. So allow your hands to come below the shoulders, knees below the hips. With the inhale, arching the spine, dropping your chest, gazing forward, opening your throat. And with the exhale, curling and rounding through the spine. So pressing the floor away. Inhale, arch and open. Exhale, curl and round. Continue moving here, a couple arches and a couple curls. Starting to open up through the vertebra, creating this space dynamically. Then perhaps letting this become a little bit more organic, maybe rocking the hips from side to side or taking some sweeping circles through the hips. Maybe they start as semicircles towards the back of your mat. Notice how there's this kind of communication that starts to happen through the body without words. It happens through sensation, happens through movement. You can continue with some cat and cows once you've finished off those hip circles if you need a little more movement through the spine. coming into a flat back, dropping that left forearm onto the ground, and then just picking right leg up and just rotating the knee a couple times through your hips here. Perhaps bending and extending the knee along the journey throughout those circles. And then taking it in the opposite direction, so getting an even stretch. And then eventually kicking right foot out to the right. We're going to pulse just 3 times here. So drop that foot to a hover and then reach up. 3, 2, 1. Let that foot land over to the right and then find some back and forth presses here. So letting yourself hinge forward and backward. Finding some nice little movements here. Perhaps letting yourself linger in one position for a moment, or continuing with that opening and movement. Coming back to a flat back, keeping the right leg extended where it is. Left hand plants, right fingertips reach up to the sky, and then just start to create some circles through that right arm with a bent elbow. Opening up your chest, maybe your gaze follows on the right fingertips. Take it in the opposite rotation when you're ready. And then reach those right fingertips up to the sky. Inhale, open. And with the exhale, take right fingertips and thread them towards the left side of your mat. Inhale, reach those right fingertips back up. Open your chest and heart. And exhale, thread through. 2 more here. Inhale, rise. Exhale, thread. Last one here. In and out. Reach right fingertips back up to the sky. One more time. Gaze up towards the fingers. And exhale, land that right hand back to meet left. Picking up the right toes and extending the right leg behind you with the flexed foot. Breathe in. Breathe out. We're going to hold here. You might choose to reach that left arm forward. And rather than coming in and out of this, we're just going to hold here. Really notice how you have to engage all of your muscles to keep that leg and arm lifted. Squeeze right glute. Pull the abdominals in while letting breath be natural here. One more breath. And with the exhale, returning back into your table pose. Taking a couple hip sways or maybe an arch and a curl. I think the bugs look forward to when we come because they all like to come onto the mat. Little ants. Beautiful. Dropping right forearm down to the ground, creating some circles through that left hip by lifting the left leg up off of your mat and just rotating the leg. We'll take it in both directions, so let your body kind of cue you into changing the rotations. Notice how that left glute needs to be a little engaged. And then kicking left leg out to the left. We'll pulse here for 3, 2, 1. Let that left foot land to the left side of your room and then start to take some back and forth presses. You can come onto the forearms. You can stay onto the palms. You can linger in any position if it feels really lovely and you want to kind of continue that stretch. Coming all the way back to center, left leg stays extended, right hand plants, left fingertips reach up. Start to create some nice circles through that left arm with the bent elbow. You can open up your chest as you take this rotation. Maybe even your gaze kind of gently follows left fingertips. Make sure you take it in both rotations. Inhale, left fingertips to the sky. And with the exhale, thread left hand towards the right side of your mat. Inhale, reach and open it back up. Exhale, thread through. 2 more here. Inhale and exhale. Last one. Reach the fingertips to the sky and exhale, thread. Finishing it off by reaching the left fingertips to the sky. Maybe your gaze follows And with the exhale, returning back with that left hand on the ground, picking left toes up and sending them behind you for an extended table pose. So left glute is squeezing, foot is flexed, and the right side of your body is engaged too. So we're pressing that right knee into the ground, choosing to extend that right arm as we hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release back into your table pose. For a moment, sit back onto the heels and just shake those wrists out. So you will notice it's a little bit different on the wrists when you do your yoga outside because it's a little bit softer of a surface below you. So make sure you're really giving yourself opportunity to stretch through the wrists. Let's tuck the toes under, lift hips up and back, downward facing dog. Start to pedal your feet here, dropping one heel to the ground and then the other. It's kind of stepping one heel down and then reaching the other heel as we bend through the knees a little bit here. Making sure those shoulders are rolling down and away from the ears. So maybe for a moment you take a peek in the monitor. This is what I'm talking about. When we have our shoulders kind of hunched up like this, we want to really roll those shoulders down and away from the ears, almost like a little turtle poking its head out of its shell. That's kind of what I imagine. Sometimes finding a visual like that is really the ticket to find the pose a little bit stronger. Finding some back and forth presses with the inhale, dropping the knees to a hover, finding a bent knee dog. And then with the exhale, extending forward to your plank pose, making sure those shoulders don't go past your wrists. Inhale, bent knee dog, hips pull up and back. And exhale, plank pose. 3 more. You can always take these with the knees on the ground. Here's last one. The next time you're in your plank pose, hold here. We'll run through our plank, make sure it's set up nice and strong. So hands are pressing into the ground, bent in the elbows just to protect your joints. Pressing those heels back, chest pulls a little forward. Keep that abdominal squeezed, but breath is not constricted. Inhale, exhale. Running through our first version of chaturanga, inhale. With the exhale, let those knees lower, and then the chest follows with the elbows pointing back. Once that chest lands and you find your next inhale, peel the chest up. Keep your gaze towards the ground. Elbows and shoulders pull towards one another. Squeeze the glutes and quads. And exhale, soften. Let's find one more low cobra. Inhale, press it up. This is a strong and active pose. And exhale, release. Making your way back to your table pose and then downward facing dog. Breathe and let it go. And throughout class, if you can maintain nose breathing in and out through the nose, that's awesome. If you ever need to take a cleansing breath and let some air go through the mouth, that's always welcome as well. With the inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward, prepare. And with the exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. Hanging in your forward fold just for a moment to kind of release that lower back. Keep a bend through the knees. Maybe bringing the forearms on top of the thighs as a little shelf to support yourself, or coming into a full ragdoll pose by letting the hands grasp onto opposite elbows. Maybe some swaying here. Relax your neck completely. Maybe you need to shake the head yes and no to really let that neck fully relax. Even opening and closing the jaw. A lot of times I hold tension through my jaw and kind of clench my jaw. So if you are that type as well, here's your reminder to release it. It's very common for us to kind of hold tension through the jaw. Inhale for a halfway lift. Bring those fingertips to your shins. Squeeze your way up. The pelvic floor muscles are pulling inwards, but breath is natural. Active pose. And exhale, release. Inhale, press through the feet. Slowly start to rise. One vertebra at a time lifts. And then those arms reach up overhead, finding a nice big stretch. And the exhale, pulling those hands towards your heart. Breathe in. Breathe out. So now we're slowly starting to get in the sun. Half of my body is sunny and the other half is a little shadowy. So I hope the viewing is okay for you guys. With the inhale, circle sweep the arms, reach up to the sky. And with the exhale, hinge from the hips, pour yourself forward. Inhale, halfway lift, nice and strong. And exhale, fold. Hands plant, stepping back to your plank pose. In your plank pose, same rules apply here. Press those heels back. Pull that chest forward. One strong line from the heels to the crown. Breathe in. With the exhale, either lowering those knees to the ground or lowering halfway with those knees lifted. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, or you can always find your low cobra. If you're in your upward facing dog, squeeze the glutes and thighs. Keep the knees and hips up off the ground. And exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths. Inhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, circle sweep. The arms reach up overhead. And exhale, hands to heart. Making sure those feet are hip distance apart. Pressing the feet into the earth. With the inhale, circle sweep the arms up. With the exhale, sink down into your chair pose as you pull the hands towards your heart. So in your chair pose, those hips are sinking back. And you're trying to find a flat back here. So maybe for a moment you bring that hand to your pelvis and lower back. And you just kind of notice if that pelvis is kind of pouring forward or tucking backward. And find that happy spot right in the middle. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Step left foot back, come into a crescent lunge. In your crescent lunge, those feet are still hip distance apart. Right foot is towards the front of your mat, and the ball of the left foot is towards the back of your mat with a gentle bend to that left knee so that pelvis is tucked under. With the inhale, arms reach up, and with the exhale, dip and twist to the right. Left arm pulls forward, right arm pulls back. Inhale, rise. And exhale, dip and twist. So we're creating a little bit of tension through the legs and arms as we continue this movement. And that is dynamic tension. Inhale, rise and squeeze. Exhale, dip and twist. One more here. Inhale and exhale. Hold here. Or you might choose to let that left hand start to drop down, coming into a runner's lunge twist. So notice the difference in weight coming from a lifted chest to a hinging forward. So now you need to really press through that right foot a little stronger here. Here's one more. Inhale and exhale. Slowly returning back to a runner's lunge. Plant those hands down on the ground. Send right foot up and back. 3-leg dog. Open your hip here, bend the knee, dial the heel over towards the left. Make sure you don't dump all of your weight into left shoulder and hand. Try to keep both hands pressing into the earth. Inhale, right leg reaches back up to the sky. Square your hips. And with the exhale, pull right knee into the chest. Step to your runner's lunge. From here, dialing left heel down and opening up to your warrior 2. In your warrior 2, take a moment to just adjust through your feet. Make sure they're in a location where you can hold a nice solid foundation. Right toes are forward, right knee stacks on top of right ankle, and that back edge of the left foot is pressing into the back of the mat. So feel that contrast building, that dynamic tension through the legs. Breathe in, breathe out. 2 more breaths. Inhale, flip right palm, reverse your warrior. And with the exhale, extend your warrior. Hold here for a moment. Maybe start to bring some gentle rotations through left shoulder, or choose to stay static for 5 breaths. Here's 3 breaths. 4. And 5. Inhale to reverse your warrior. Come back out. And with the exhale, cartwheel, hands down to your runner's lunge. Hands plant, right foot steps back to meet left, or maybe the right leg stays lifted in a three-legged plank for an inhale and exhale. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or low cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths here. So if you guys are looking for a hot yoga class, this is it. We're sweating. We're hot. Do not be fooled by the gentle little breeze that you're feeling. It is humid. It is hot. Inhale, bend the knees, prepare. And with the exhale, walk or hop to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Pressing through the feet, inhale, reach yourself all the way up. And exhale, hands to heart. Ground here. Maybe you grab a quick little drink of water if you're feeling parched. And then we'll continue in our chair pose. So start by setting up your foundation. Press the feet into the earth, hip distance apart. Inhale, arms to the sky. Exhale, hands to heart as you sit down into your chair pose. So again, we're pressing those hips back, keeping a nice flat back if you can. Notice how some of the weight is going into the heels. The outer edges of your legs are pushing apart from one another as the inner thighs are pulling towards one another. Feel that dynamic contrast. 5, 4, sink a little lower. 3, 2, 1. Step right foot back, come into your crescent lunge. You might need to readjust the feet hip distance apart. That left foot towards the front of your mat. Ball the right foot to the back of your mat. Gentle bend through that right knee. Inhale, rise in your crescent lunge. Exhale, dip and twist to the left. Inhale, rise. Build that dynamic tension through the legs. Exhale, dip and twist. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Choosing to hold that twist in a crescent lunge or letting that right hand start to drop, coming into a runner's lunge. So that left foot needs to be towards the left edge of your mat to make this happen. Imagine that that right rib cage is rotating towards the left side. Breathe in. Breathe out. Coming back into your runner's lunge. Hands plant, left foot steps up and back, 3-leg dog. Dial the hip open by bending the knee, letting that left heel drop over towards the left. Try to maintain even weight through both shoulders and hands. Inhale, left toes up to the sky. Exhale, curl the knee into the chest, step to your runner's lunge. Dial right heel down, cartwheel open to your warrior 2. Again, setting up in your warrior 2, making sure that the left toes are towards the front of your mat and the back edge of the right foot towards the back of your mat. Open your arms, 3 breaths. Inhale, flip left palm, reverse your warrior. And with the exhale, extend your warrior. Hold here for a moment, perhaps rotating through right shoulder or holding a static pose for 5, 4, 3. Keep pressing with those feet. 2. Stay for 1. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Come up out of your waist. And with the exhale, cartwheel, hands down to your runner's lunge. Hands plant, left foot steps back to meet right, or it stays lifted for a 3-legged plank for an inhale. And exhale. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or low cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. You might choose to drop those knees to the ground and take a little break, maybe some water. And I'd love to know where you guys are all practicing today. So if you want to comment or even take a picture and tag us in it of where your practice area is today, we would absolutely love to see that. Eventually we'll all meet in a downward facing dog, but do not feel rushed to get back into it. We'll take 3 breaths in our downward dog. Inhale, right leg up to the sky. And with the exhale, pull right knee in towards the chest. Hold. Inhale, right leg reaches back up to the sky. Exhale, right knee to left elbow. Hold here and then kick that right leg through. Dial the left heel down. Open up to a funky side plank. So the left fingertips reach up to the sky. Press those hips up. Inhale. Exhale. Dropping left hand back down, pulling right knee in towards the chest, and then stepping to your runner's lunge. You can use blocks underneath the hands in your runner's lunge here as we set it up, making sure that right foot is stepped far enough out to the right for hip distance apart. Coming into your airplane lunge, so pulling those arms back with the palms facing down. Keeping that chest lifted, contrast pulling forward and pressing backward. Choosing to stay here or taking flight by reaching those left toes up off the ground with the flexed foot, keeping that chest open and lifted, palms face down for an external rotation. Dial left hip down for 3, 2, 1. Now stay with me. Bring the hands to your heart. Start to pull that left knee up towards the chest. I'm going to step back for a sec. Interlace hands on left shin or knee and rotate left ankle as you squeeze right glute. From here, opening right arm out to the right, left knee out to the left, dancing Shiva pose. Now, if you're the dancing type, you might grab onto the left foot and kick that leg out. If you are practicing your kick, a great way to do that is bringing the palm underneath left thigh, and then just kind of pulsing a couple kicks here. Maybe even holding that kick for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's release, coming into your mountain pose. Empty coat sleeve from side to side. Little doggy friend. And yes, as badly as we want to get into the studio for the hot yoga, I'm telling you guys, if you go outside, if you bring your class outside, you're going to have the same experience as a hot yoga class. So please join us on Victory Field. We would love to see you guys. Let's go ahead and wash that away with a vinyasa. So come to the top of your mat if you're not already there. Both feet plant. Inhale, arms circle, sweep to the sky. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, strong halfway lift. Exhale, hands plant, stepping or taking maybe a gentle little hop to your plank pose. Breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or low cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. 2 breaths. Inhale, left leg sweeps up to the sky. Exhale, knee to chest, hold. Inhale, left leg sweeps up and back. Exhale, left knee to right elbow, hold. And then kick left leg across. Dial right heel down, open up to your side plank, right fingertips up to the sky, press those hips up, inhale, and exhale. Dropping right hand back down, pulling left knee in towards the chest, step to your runner's lunge. Left foot needs to be walked out to the left just a touch so that you're hip distance apart. Ball of the right foot to the back of your mat. Starting to pick that chest up with the palms facing down, fingertips pull back. So we're finding an airplane lunge here. Breathe in, breathe out. Choosing to stay here or take flight, those right toes reach up off the ground with a flexed foot. Notice if that right hip starts to stack on top of left, and dial that right hip down to be in one line. Breathe in, breathe out. Keep that chest lifted. Bringing your hands towards your heart, start to pull that right knee in towards the chest. Interlace hands on a right shin or knee and pull this in towards the chest as you squeeze through left glute. Opening left arm out to the left, right leg out to the right, dancing Shiva pose. And again, you can choose to stay here, or maybe you kick that right leg out. Maybe you just bring the right palm underneath right thigh and you just pulse a couple kicks here. Notice if that left hip is pressing out to the left, try to keep it stacked right below left shoulder. Woo! For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Shake it out. Take a drink of water if you need it. We'll take one more balancing posture, and then we'll hit the floor for a little bit of abs, and then some nice deep stretches. Do you have any pose you're dying to do, Marari, for balance? Not dying. I'm just happy to be here.
I just thought about eagle, but I don't know.
Eagle, yeah. Let's do it. Let's do some eagle. We saw a big bird fly overhead a couple moments ago, so that's our inspiration today. So we're going for our eagle pose. This is our last balancing pose, so let's really rock it here. I believe in you guys. Both feet are hip distance apart. That is the name of the game here. We're pressing that right foot into the ground, a little bit more active to prepare. Inhale, arms reach up to the sky. And with the exhale, right arm sweeps underneath left, coming into either a full bind, so that means the palms come towards one another, or coming into a half bind, so letting the arms just kind of wrap around shoulders. Now for a moment, I like to just kind of rock side to side, maybe take a dip down, and then reach up with those eagle arms just to kind of stretch through the shoulders a little bit. It feels really nice. And then we'll take it into our eagle pose. Start to sink those hips down. And then send left foot out to the left. Wrap left leg up and around right. So a couple options here. If balance is tricky for you, you just bring those left toes to your mat, just like this. Or you can start to kind of pick that left toes up off the ground, maybe even bringing the foot behind right calf. Now this is not necessary for this pose. You want to squeeze those knees towards one another so that they're coming towards the midline of your body. If you're hinging forward, balance might be a little bit more challenging, so try to keep those shoulders stacked on top of hips. We're squeezing our joints together here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Start to unwind nice and slow. Arms pull up, leg unwinds, and exhale into your table pose. Beautiful. That looked like a little dance we were doing. We'll take that to the other side. So this time we're bringing a little bit more intention to that left foot. Inhale, arm circle sweep to the sky. And with the exhale, this time left arm is going underneath right arm, either coming into that full bind or half bind. Take a moment to just rock with the arms, maybe taking a gentle little forward fold and then a little bit of a back bend just to open up the shoulders, chest, elbows. And then we'll prepare, sinking those hips back into your chair pose. Right foot steps out to the right and then up and over left leg. Again, those right toes can stay on the ground. Maybe this is the first destination you go to just to set your balance up. Maybe that right foot starts to pick up off the ground, maybe even tucking behind left calf. We're squeezing the knees towards the midline. This is a very grounded posture. Breathe in. Breathe out. We're constricting some blood flow into our joints, and as soon as we release it, we're going to get a flood and rush of nutrients into our body. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly and with control, start to unwind the arms. Leg unwinds and lands next to left. Let the arms come alongside of you. Empty coat sleeve from side to side. Maybe take some circles through the shoulders. Inhale, coming to center, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, hinge from the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, hands plant, stepping back to your plank pose. Breathe in, breathe out. We're going to do some shoulder taps here. So we're going to try to keep our body exactly where it is and just reach those right fingertips and tap left shoulder. And then left fingertips to right shoulder. So we're trying not to rock from side to side too much. Try to keep the abdominal and lower body engaged. Let's go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now drop onto those forearms. Holds for 10, 9, we got this, 8, 7, pull that chest forward, heels press back, 5, 4, 3, squeeze, 2, and 1. Drop those knees and hips to the ground. Find your Sphinx pose. So we're opening up that chest, using the engagement of the forearms on the ground to kind of pull your abdominals apart from one another, keeping that chin slightly tucked here. Breathe in and out. 2 more breaths. And release your chest to the ground. You can bring the arms underneath the head for a pillow as you bend the knees and windshield wiper feet from side to side. Feel that heart beat into the earth. And the basis of our class is really having a strong abdominal system. So your core really needs to be working for these postures to come a little bit more naturally for you. So your core is going to be leveling up your balancing postures, leveling up your standing postures, your warriors. All of this is really based through the core as well as, through the feet, grounding into the earth. So all of these things combined really just create the best class you could ever ask for. Coming into a couple back strengtheners here, we'll start with a locust pose. So bringing those arms alongside of you with the palms facing down, bringing your gaze to your mat. With the inhale, start to peel the chest and arms up off the ground. And if it's okay for your lower back, those legs are going to fly as well. Keep some sort of activation through your feet, either pointing or flexed, squeezing through the glutes, squeezing through the quads. Breathe. Shoulder blades pull towards one another. Here's your last breath. And exhale, release. You can bend the knees and windshield wiper feet from side to side once again if that's calling you. So these back strengtheners are so important for us kind of counteracting all of that hunching over we do on our cell phones and computers. We really need to have a strong upper back so that we can kind of counteract all of that hunching over. Coming into a skydiver pose. This is one of my favorites, and we're going to pulse in and out of this one. So open the arms into goal posts with the palms facing down. Bend the knees and flex the feet so that the feet are kind of pressing the sky away from you. With the inhale, peel the arms and legs up off the ground like you're skydiving. And with the exhale, soften. Inhale, rise, skydiver. Exhale, soften. 5 more. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Hold for 5. 4. Squeeze those glutes. 3, 2, 1. And release. Propping your way up into your table pose. Perhaps taking a couple cat and cows here or sinking those hips back into a child's pose. So anytime we find those really intense arches of the spine, it's always a good idea to find a little bit of rounding. So in your child's pose, maybe you bring those knees a little bit closer together. Take a couple nice nurturing breaths here after those really active and intense postures. Rising back up into your table pose, taking any little movements here that might feel good. Then coming back to a flat back, taking the knife edge side of your right hand, so the pinky edge of your hand, and just kind of extending it long, kind of coming into a nice side stretch. I like to drop my left forearm onto the ground here. You might choose to keep the palm on the ground and kind of use that to press your chest open towards the left. You can relax your head down onto your right shoulder, or maybe you have a block. Breathe in, breathe out. Coming back to center, we'll take that to the other side. So right hand plants, left pinky edge side of the hand extends forward, turning your gaze over to the right side of your mat, either dropping right forearm onto the ground or using that right palm to kind of press your chest and twist it open to the right. Breathe in, breathe out. Coming back to center and then transitioning onto our backs here. So letting yourself just kind of lay back down. Once you've arrived, take a nice full body stretch, reaching the arms and limbs apart from one another. Maybe rotating at the wrists and ankles a couple times. The sweatier you get, the more the grass sticks to you. So I always tell people to bring a towel for underneath your mat. That way you have a little bit of a larger distance away from the grass. Pull the knees into the chest. Give yourself a squeeze here. Perhaps a gentle little swaying side to side. And then letting the soles of the feet come to the earth. Taking right ankle and stacking it over left thigh, coming into your figure 4. Perhaps you let this shape kind of rock from side to side, or you can interlace the hands behind left thigh and pull the shape in towards the chest. Now, just a friendly reminder here, you want to make sure that that lower back stays connected to the earth. We're opening up through the right hip flexor. This is a pretty soft pose, so try not to hold any tension where it does not belong, especially in that jaw. Notice if you're clenching your mouth. Breathe in and let it go. Two more breaths here. Letting the sole of the left foot drop down to the ground, opening the arms up into a T and dropping the shape over towards the right. So coming into a reclining spinal twist here. You might choose once you arrive that you don't like that right ankle stacked on left knee, and you can remove it. You can also stack the knees on top of one another with a block sandwiched in between them. That might feel really lovely and supportive. A couple nice deep breaths here in your reclining twist, wringing out the spine, wringing out the internal organs of any toxins. Enjoying the little noises of the birds. If that right ankle is stacked over left thigh, go ahead and remove it. Pull the knees back to center and then take left ankle and cross it over right thigh, perhaps rocking a couple times side to side, or interlacing the hands behind right thigh, pulling the shape in towards the chest without letting that lower back become detached from the earth. Finding that beautiful opening through the left side of your hips. And never experiencing any bad pain here. So stretching is a little bit of a different sensation than dealing with pain. So just kind of differentiating the two, taking it as slow as you need. You never want to force your way into a pose. You want your body to arrive in a natural progression. And when we harness our breath to do so, this becomes so much natural, more natural for the body. 2 more breaths here. Dropping the right sole of the foot onto the earth, opening the arms up into a T and dropping the shape over towards the left. You might choose to unstack that left ankle off of right thigh once you arrive. Taking any modifications of a spinal twist here. Breathing. Each exhale softening you. 2 more. Slowly coming back to center and taking any last posture of your choice. So perhaps a reclining bound angle, letting those soles of the feet come together, knees flop out. Might feel really lovely here. Perhaps a wind relieving pose on both sides, taking turns. Or finding a waterfall pose, letting those legs extend up to the sky. Spend about 5 more breaths wherever you're at. Eventually coming back to your final resting pose, letting yourself arrive naturally, taking any expression of that. Letting a wave of breath come over you. Where does your mind go when you enter this piece? Does it look for the next thought? Or can you be content within this presence, within this simplicity of the now? Can you keep your awareness open to all of the things unfolding in front of you without identifying with any thoughts, just allowing them to just pass through like a little car driving by or bird flying by, just this quick momentary thought that goes in and out. And there's this sense of comfort, just kind of being within your own little bubble and container as the world exists around you. A beautiful reminder that no one can take that away from you. No one can take that breath or that peace away from your soul. It is yours. It's like this private little oasis that you can enter whenever you want to. Like your own personal address, where only you have the key for. Taking another deep breath in and letting it go. Again, let your breath expand. Starting to bring some gentle movements into the fingers and toes. Maybe pulling the knees in towards the chest, giving yourself a squeeze. Taking the next 5 breaths to slowly start to engage in some gentle movements before picking yourself up into your meditative seat. Perhaps choosing to stay where you are and just enjoy a little bit of a longer Shavasana in a reclined position. Once you've arrived where you'd like to be, where you would like to end your practice, bringing your hands somewhere over the body where you feel inclined. Maybe the one hand over the heart and one hand over the belly, 2 very common locations where we tend to hold fear and anxiety. And even on the days where you feel maybe a little defeated or tired or whatever it is, as difficult as it may be to kind of not linger within your funk, I invite you to challenge yourself to maybe do that extra yoga practice or take that extra 10 minutes with yourself in a meditation. Or perhaps go for a run or dance. Even if it is the last thing that you want to do, just do something that treats your soul with love and kindness. And trust me, I know that sometimes we have those days where that's just not going to happen. But maybe on those days, you take that extra 10 minutes of meditation, or you just pull a chair and go outside and just listen to the birds. Just know that you are worthy of taking those extra steps for yourself. We would do it for anyone else. Why is it so hard to do it for ourselves sometimes? Treat your soul like your best friend. We'll seal our practice in with the sound of Om, starting with the cleansing breath. Breathe in and out. And for Om, inhale. Om. Thank you so much for joining in on this practice, for being a part of each other's journey as well as my journey. And the Great Spirit that resides within my heart bows to the Great Spirit residing within yours. Namaste. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another live Mystic Fitness class. You guys are our, main priority here as we're entering through different changes throughout our physical studio, our outdoor studio, and our virtual studio. So stay with us through all of the changes. Let's go with the flow. Stay present as much as possible. And we look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. We have Deb and Mitra doing a bark-in class, and we'll keep our eye on the weather and keep you guys posted. If there are ever any weather concerns, we'll post it on our Facebook page either the night before or the morning of, and we will still come live to you through our indoor studio. All right, so we'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care and have a great rest of your day.